friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a video that I have really been thinking about for weeks and weeks now. I've been thinking about going through my entire makeup collection, at least what I have left of it, and pulling out the things that I still love, use, that have pan on them. As I was going through a lot of videos recently with you guys, whether it be about second chance videos, declutters, I have found that I had some pan on things that I already was shocked by because they're really big, or maybe there's a lot of product in there, or I just hadn't realized how much I reach for something. And then that got me down a makeup rabbit hole. Do you guys ever do this where you start pulling out the things you're like, oh wait, I still have this. Why am I not using this? It has so much pan on it. Does that mean it's expired and maybe time to let it go? Is this stuff I'm not reaching for, or is it still a holy grail and then I just got distracted with something shiny and went to something else for a while? I'm gonna go through all of this big pile with you today. Now lately I have been doing some declutters this past year, as a lot of you guys have seen, and I'll go ahead and include my declutter playlist down below and up above for you because I have been trying to curate what I keep. Trying to get out the old, but also if I'm not using something, I'd rather get rid of it, give it away, or if it's expired. We are seeing a lot of people kind of going through their beauty collections right now, realizing how old some products are, and that did happen a couple of times in here. So let's talk about pan. Let's get a little pan porn going here with my friends. Grab your tea, grab your water, grab your snacks, get comfy. Let's jump into some panning products, shall we? Cheers! Also, as you can see, I am slowly decorating for my Halloween special, and what you can't see from this perspective is all of the stuff around the room, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you because my Halloween special this year is already amping up to be one of the spookiest, one of the most haunting videos, and I've already filmed some of it. So I'm really excited to really do this whole Halloween month with you guys. So I've already started with some decor that you can see. And I have quite a few bags over here of other things that I've been decorating the room with. And you're gonna see a lot of those throughout this month. So if you are not subscribed but a long-time lurker, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, especially on this year's Halloween special that will be coming in like 18 days from the day I'm filming this. So that's 2 weeks from when this video is uploading. I am super duper excited to do Halloween with you guys. And I know Halloween's not everybody's jam, but I hope you know this is all in good fun, and some of it's gonna be about Halloweeniness, and some of it's gonna, well, a lot of it is gonna be about some makeup. And please keep telling me down below what you would like the main content of the Halloween special to be as far as the makeup portions go. Favorites, old haunting favorites that maybe I haven't talked about in a while, new and old things, whatever you are creeping for this holiday season, let your girl know below. Maybe you're gonna wanna see some of these in the video. Again, tell me below. I don't even know where to start because the pile on my desk right now is pretty huge. I really thought I would have lost a lot of panned products in a lot of my declutters this past year, but then as I just kept pulling stuff out, my biggest fear at this particular moment is worrying that I've missed one or two things in my beauty space because I thought, okay, this is everything I've got. And then I went in to reach for a favorite bronzer and I was like, oh crap, I forgot. That has so much pan on it. How did I forget? It's because it's kind of newer to my beauty space. So I made myself go back through my beauty drawers about 2-3 more times, and I found even more things with pan on them. Some of these things are so like loved in my beauty space, and I'm calling them loved, not old, because that's what I'd like to think people would say about me one day. I don't talk about this product on my channel anymore, so I feel like let's just get this one done. Let's get it out of the way. The reason I don't speak about this anymore is because when I purchased this product, the brand was cruelty-free. And that's also gonna tell you how long I've had this in my beauty space. So I'm actually wondering if this is gonna turn into a little bit of a declutter as well, simply because it's old. It's really old, and I have so many highlighters in my collection, and you guys know about it. How many of you still have in your beauty collection the highlighter that kind of like jumped it all off for drugstores, especially Wet n Wild. This is the Wet n Wild Megaglow highlighting powder, and this one is one of the coveted shades of Precious Petals. Y'all remember, if you do, then you've been with my channel a super long time, when I wouldn't shut up about this highlighter, when I just used it in every single video, in every single favorites. How many of you guys have been with me that long? Please hit the like button if you have. Because, oh my gosh, you guys, this was my go-to. This was my baby, and it's probably why it is still here, because my highlighter drawer runneth over. It is excessive. I must have looked like a glazed donut throughout 2017, 2018 when I was using this, and I got really heartbroken when Wet n Wild was found out to not be cruelty-free. And it wasn't just that they decided to not be cruelty-free anymore, it was the fact that there was this whole scandal around it like years ago. You may not even remember, but it was one of those things where they claimed to be cruelty-free, we all thought they were, and then they were literally like caught red-handed, like an aha moment, that they were selling in China, which is known to test all of their products on animals. It was a whole thing. So there's just a really strong like shift from a lot of people talking about Wet n Wild on YouTube specifically to now outside of the cruelty-free world. Do other people still talk about Wet n Wild? I could see how that could have fallen off my personal radar, but I'm really curious. Do you guys hear about Wet n Wild as consistently as you did like in 2017, 2018? I want to know. I just was like looking at it this morning going, I should probably declutter this, not just because I'm not using it, but that's a big reason, but my highlighter palette collection literally runneth over. I have, let me look in here, pull out my Nichole cam here. I have so many highlighters, and this isn't even all of them because I actually have a drawer over there, and yes, you're getting a peek of what's to come for Halloween. A drawer over there that has even more highlighters in there. These are just the ones that I was using on my current rotation, and it's all of these, plus a lot of face palettes. So I didn't plan for this panning video to become a declutter video when I was pulling all of these products out this morning, but I have not even put a finger into this in so long that I'm just like, is it time to let this go? Because I feel like this formula was very like drugstore friendly, a Becca formula. Do you guys remember when the Becca highlighters, RIP, rest in peace, Becca Cosmetics, we miss you. Smashbox actually took over their Champagne Pop highlighters. It's not even sitting on the skin correctly anymore as I'm staring at it. On the viewfinder it probably looks fine, but like in person it definitely looks more powdery, more dusty. This was the drugstore version of Champagne Pop is what I kind of think that what really drew us in. I didn't have any Becca, I couldn't afford any Becca, but I loved and trusted Wet n Wild. So that's why I had this in my collection. Gosh, for how long ago was 2017? Was that when this was the big hype? How long ago was that? Oh gosh, this math is gonna hurt. Like 5 years ago, guys. Oh, that one hurts. So I've probably had this for far too long. The thing about powders is if it's still performing, whether it's an eyeshadow palette or a face product, a lot of us will be, you know, more generous with the length of time we keep something in our beauty spaces if we're still using it and loving it. And I'm now having a moment of, I think I can let this go. I don't think I ever thought that could happen because it's not looking so hot on the hand. But at the same time, like I said, I have so many highlighters, so I don't think I need this anymore. This is a little shocking for me at the moment. A moment of silence, a moment of appreciation for what you gave us, but now we can move on. Wow, I was not expecting this. I'm just gonna put her in her final resting place. We're already doing the Halloween puns. You gotta love it. And sadly, that will not be the last highlighter you see in this video, because even though highlighting the way it was previously, where it was like all blinged out, has kind of like simmered down in the beauty community, I still have lots of pan on some highlighters. I don't even remember when this would have been, when we got like back-to-back face palettes from Boxycharm. Do you guys remember that? Was that like 2-3 years ago now? When it was like every month, instead of an eyeshadow palette, it felt like we were getting face palettes. This one it went under the radar of something I spoke about on camera, but I was using it behind the scenes for some body highlighting, body bronzing, but I did use it on the face quite a bit as well, especially when I started working with Cupshe and started doing some swimsuit videos for you guys. This is the True and Luscious Lucky Glow palette. This is a good, clean, and glam palette, as they've marketed it here. And it's a bronzing and highlighting palette. We got so many, I feel like I was talking about a lot of palettes at the time. And this is actually a really good formula. I love when like a boutique indie type brand can really come through and make you take a pause, take a moment to be like, this is really good. And I think I did talk about it at least a couple of times when I got it, but that may have been it. As you can see, okay, there is a lot of pan on this particular piece here, but I do need to give a disclaimer that I did not produce all of this pan, but I did produce some of it. As much as we love having things delivered to our home, like a subscription box or buying something online, we do find that sometimes shipping will do you a little dirty. And of course, one of my favorite things in this palette, which is this shade up here called 777s. It's the bronzer with some highlight in it that I fell in love with that style of bronzer a couple years ago, came chunky and a little broken apart. This is a bronzer that I have found works gorgeously on the body and on the face, but I had another bronzer in my collection that, yeah, we're gonna get to in a little bit, that was really taking that moment for me on the face. So I really liked being able to bronze up certain areas on the shoulders before maybe I came on camera, maybe to help balance out some swimsuit lines. I still do that from time to time. Also, I started working with Cupshe, which is a clothing and swimsuit line, but in the beginning stages, they were more focused on swimsuits. I got a bunch of swimsuits from them that I was showing on my channel because I was loving them, but I also wanted to bronze up certain areas, look a little better on camera. I'm not sorry, and I would totally recommend if you're gonna put your body on the internets and you want a little extra confidence, feel free to give yourself a little faux tan that has some glow to it. I got no shame in that game, and neither should you. This was my go-to body bronzer because they had really big pans, and I thought this is a really nice smooth formula. It went beautifully on the shoulders, went beautifully on the face, and went well on like the legs, the shoulders. But this is a really nice bronzer. I even had some of you guys reaching out to me going, hey, did you ever get this? Because this is a really quality palette. And I agree, their bronzer's really good. The problem was we were on overload of these products. And as you can see, as I'm like, this is like my second layer here, they're very natural. You can build them up. Like those bronzers down there are very subtle. I was clearly not in a subtle moment then though either. But the highlighters were also like Heaven 7 was also very like Becca Smooth worthy. Lots of beautiful shimmer. This is Pots of Gold up here. Very beautiful. And the other thing about getting a palette is sometimes is you don't use up everything in here. Like the blush I did use a few times, but can't even remember to tell you. Oh yeah, very smooth. Very, very pigmented, as you can see here. This is probably one of the most pigmented things in this palette. Really good. I just haven't talked about it a bunch, and it's mostly because I was using it for a lot of body glow in those spring, summer months as I was kind of like getting ready for the new seasons. I haven't touched it in a while because I feel like palettes have kind of fallen off my radar as far as face products go. I tend to really go towards individual pieces now, but this is something that I really, really loved. While we're talking about face palettes, let's dive into a few others that have been longtime loves on my channel. Even if I haven't spoken about them in a while, I am still using them behind the scenes. How many of you guys got and loved the Tarte Clay Play Face Shaping Palette? This one was a combination of face palette and eyeshadows. This was a very cool toned neutral palette, correct? Well, fun fact, I hated cool tones when I received this. It still smells good too. For a decent amount of time, I've always loved warm tones. Love them. So cool tones I always thought looked really, I don't know, made me look sickly a little bit. Made me look a little tired or worn down. Didn't look as glam in my mind. Over the past, I would say 3 years, I've been warming up to the cooler tones. Yes, I heard how that sounded. It's true though. And I started reaching into this a bit more and a bit more. So I do have a decent amount of dip on both of these face colors. This is kind of one of my go-to contours when I'm in a pinch or if I'm traveling and it's something that I like to use. I like this cooler tone here, but clearly you can see I have hit some nice pan on this eyeshadow, but I've also used this for some slight contour for like the nose. This became a very loved palette for me a couple of years ago. I traveled with it, took it with me everywhere because I felt like it was a little bit of everything in one, which is the point of a face palette, obviously. But I would even pull this out at home quite frequently, fell in love with it, and I do still use this pretty regularly. I would say at least a couple of times a month. I still reach for this. So I know I've had it in my collection for a while, but I am curious as to when I'm gonna hit some pan onto this contour right here because I do use this pretty regularly. But there is one that you may already know I have had in my beauty space for a really long time. That this is like the runner-up in my beauty space as far as contour goes. Because if you know it, say it. Say it with me. I do have a backup of this for when this goes away, but they don't make this anymore, so I don't talk about it a lot on my channel. But they should bring it back because Tarte, this is amazing. This is my Park Avenue Tarte Chisel palette. I love this. This is the Park Avenue Princess Chisel palette if you want the full name. Not that you could Google it. Well, you could Google it, but you wouldn't find it unless it's on a Mercari or maybe a Facebook swap group or something. This has been, I mean, look at her. Look at her. She has been my ride or die palette. I have loved this face palette so darn much. My contour shade of choice, even when I thought I didn't like cool tones, has always been this shade here that I could barely read. I'm literally having to scrape off the product off of the packaging so I could read what it is. Okay, it's Carrot. It's Carrot. I used it so much I couldn't read it anymore. It's Carrot right here. I have loved this for the face, for the nose, for the jawline, for the eyes. When I tell you this is my go-to palette, I still have this on deck all the time. I used it today. I used it yesterday. I have used this palette for so long and it shows, right? It shows. I do have a backup of this. I have given one away before that I did get in a Boxycharm. This one I've had though before I got it from Boxycharm. So if you're thinking I've only had this for a few years, no. This is my original Park Avenue Princess palette that I got when I still lived in St. Louis. This is something I got 4 years at least, and she's still been really good. The reason I feel I stopped using it for a while because I was so worried about using it up because it was going away, but then I was like, girl, then it's just gonna go bad. Use up what you have. So that's what I've been doing for a while now. It's my favorite. It really is. Is there a contour palette out there similar to this product, do you know? I don't know if this is an Amazonian clay. It doesn't say that it is. I know that's one of the big ones from Tarte. Just this Park Avenue Chisel palette, this Princess palette, my favorite. I love the formula. It looks so good on the skin. I love it. While we're still talking about face palettes, should we just keep going with this? Are you liking this trend? How many of you guys fell in love with this when we got this from a Boxycharm? And some of you guys, I think, bought it in one of the pop-ups because so many of us that got it and tried it and loved it wouldn't shut up about it. So y'all took advantage of any deals you could find when this sucker came on the market. This was the Cover FX Perfector Face Palette. This is something that was something I received from a Boxycharm. The standout clearly is the piece that has the pan on it. And so many of you guys were like, that was the first thing that I have panned ever, was this finishing powder. Because this finishing powder is not like any normal finishing powder. This not only is very smooth and glides on anyone's skin type like it's butter. It's like butter for your face. But there are like, what do I want to say? I could see it in the pan. There's some iridescent, I don't want to say glitter because that's not the right word, not sparkles. There are some illuminating factors to this powder that reflect off, not in a shimmery pixie dust way, but in a way that makes your skin look glorious. And let's be serious, under the eyes is a place this powder is known to be stunning. And under the eyes, your skin gets a little tired, it can look crepey. That's where things could start to age us. And if you have too much product that builds up, or it's just not a good, finely milled enough powder, it can really detract from your makeup. Not this product. No. This product could make everything lift. It could make everything look smooth. It can make everything seem blended across the face, under the eyes, down the nose, in the nose. I don't even care where you put it, it would make it look amazing. This is so good. And I was like, did they ever get their ish together and sell this separately? Because all of us were like, we're just gonna keep running through palettes just using this product. The rest was good too. Like this highlighter, I couldn't get over how stunning this is a tiny highlighter, but it's like you'll never go through it. Because look at that. Look at that. I didn't plan to do this, but we're gonna do this. Look at this. I already had highlighter on my collarbones. Not compared to this, I didn't. Not compared to this. It like beams. Like, do you want to be Casper the Friendly Ghost for Halloween? Like, I have to diffuse this right now. Put this all over yourself. Like, look at this. Before, after. Before, after. Clear difference. Super clear difference. But if you're like, this is too much, honestly, I use this mostly for the inner corners of the eyes, just to like make that go bum. You remember when that was a big trend to do? Just that little beam right here. You were into it. You know you were. A little under the brow sometimes to give us that free facelift. Not ashamed. Sometimes we should still do that. And by we, I mean me. I still need to do that. You may not need to. And then over here, we have these two highlighters. Like this was called a brightener. These two were the highlighters. So let me just show you what this highlighter looks like. It's already like more natural, neutral. Makes your skin look like it's juiced up. It's kind of like how the highlighter is now. More approachable. That's what we'll call it. Approachable. I'll even do a second dip into it just to kind of like get more on my finger and on my skin here. But you can clearly see a difference. Yes, you can. I don't need to diffuse this more. I mean, if anything, I'm going to need to diffuse this more. The contour, I've used up a bunch to the point you don't really see the markings from the pressing on it anymore. The blush was fine too. This palette was a go-to for me for a really, really long time. Again, this is the Perfector Face palette. This one is in the light medium version. They also had a darker version going around as well, as they should. This is like, it's really good. Did they ever end up selling that powder by itself? Now I'm just wanting to bathe in this brightener though that I forgot about too. So not that I should, but I could. I don't think is this technically a face palette? Okay. This is technically a face palette because it does have eyeshadows and it has a blush and a highlighter. But let's be serious. I have used this particular palette so darn much that like anytime you guys saw it in the wild, whether it was on a Mercari, a Poshmark, on Amazon, anywhere, y'all were messaging me. You were instant messaging me on Instagram. You were reaching out to me here on YouTube because y'all know my love affair with this, right? This is the Wander Beauty Getaway Palette. Yes, I have hit even more pan on this piece here, and the dips in the other pieces like this up here is not even shocking, but kind of shocking. The After Hours highlighter is still my go-to highlighter, brightening color. What I use it for is not a highlighter. Yes, I wore it on my face plenty of times, but my favorite way to use this After Hours highlighter is on the lids. I have found this is the most complimentary highlight, golden but not too golden, cool but not too cool, warm but not too warm piece for the lid. Don't ask why. Don't ask how I'm supposed to articulate this to make it make way more sense, because I cannot. I just know no matter what eyeshadow palette I am using, whether it is a Too Faced, whether it is a Tarte, whether it is a ColourPop, whether it is an indie brand, whatever it is, I have plenty in my beauty space. If I will work up the crease, I'll be like, ooh, I love this, and ooh, I love that brown tone, or ooh, I love this golden tone. I'll do purple, green, whatever on the crease, build it up here, but most times when I'm wanting to go back in just to feel confident and bring the whole eye look together, I'll come into this, put it on my finger, and then press it into the lid with my finger, and I feel like it always completes the look. It always knows its one job. It knows the assignment. This is still something I have in my beauty space, even if I haven't talked about it as much as I did a couple years ago, because that highlighter is my go-to. Now, if and when I find another one of these, I am definitely going to get it, just because this was clearly, Villa right here was my jam as far as a neutral tone went. It really went well with my skin tone. It really helped to build up an eye look, and you could just put this on your lid and go and be done. This is definitely one of my favorite palettes. Still use her up. But let's talk about brows really, really quickly, because Y'all know eyebrows are not my favorite part to do. I feel like my brows are a little finicky. It's more of like a 2-3 step process in the mornings just to try to make them look a little bit more filled in on camera, but also not let them look too blocky, all the things. One of my favorite powders that I have found to complete a brow look, to set it for an all-day look, whether it is outside in the hot Florida heat, or if I'm coming on camera, and a lot of you guys aren't also YouTubers, so you may not know that when you put on makeup for either film, theater, or camera of any sort, it actually looks less like you're wearing less makeup on camera than it does in person. So I'll have like a full brow totally done as I normally would in my day-to-day life and do a video and be like, oh my God, I love this Boxycharm, blah, 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 all the things. And then I go to, splice it together to upload it for you guys. And I'm like, what happened to my brows? My brows will look a little bit more gray toned. They'll look more sparse. They won't look as finished as they do in person. So I've learned through the years of YouTube land, not only do you have to do makeup for day-to-day life, you have to do specific camera tweaks to put things online if you want it to look the way it technically looks in person. So I usually have to darken up the brow. Long story long, as you know I do here, you have to darken up your brows a little bit more, at least if you are as dark of a brunette as I am. So this product is the Brow Bar by Rima True Glam Brow Makeover Kit. Now the first one that I received was in more of a medium shade. The brand saw how often I was reaching for their product and talking about it, and they were like, let me send you the dark version. And this is what's left of my dark version. They actually sent me another one a couple of months back that I'm trying to finish this one up first. But as you can see, I'm practically there, especially with the dark brown shade. This is the black shade that I do tend to use from time to time just to deepen up and give some complexity to the brow. I don't really use this waxy piece over here much for my brows. She's messy. Like, you can see how crumbly she is. She's a messy, messy girl. She gets a little fluffed up everywhere in the pan, but I don't find that happens on the brow. Like, when I put it on the brow, there's no streaking, there's no fluffing around, there's no fallout just falling all over my face, making it all dark circles. No, not with this product. It is so good. I have loved it for a really, really long time, to the point that if I am in between hair colors, like I will go to my hairstylist like every 8 to 9 weeks just to do my roots, because yeah, my family likes to go gray early, not like, oh, silver or whatever. I go white. I go like white in certain areas because it's in my family bloodline. It's just how our genetics work. So what I also tend to do with this product, I'm just going to show you a live demonstration here on camera. If I am, like, I've got my hair appointment in like 2 weeks, I think. So I know the certain areas where my hair will tend to go a little white or a little gray toned faster. And it's usually for women, just so you know, you're not alone. For women, it starts in the front of our faces, and men's, it usually goes to the back or the top of the head. Rude. Rude, rude, rude. Still, one more thing, men already have the better metabolisms. Like, come on. What I'll do a lot is take a dome-shaped brush that's a little bit more tapered at the end for a little bit more control. Dip into usually the brown, but a touch of the black too, maybe. Tap it off, because like I said, she does fluff around. Or even if you just dye your hair darker, it doesn't have to be, white like my family genes take me. Kind of take it, and then I just dip it into the roots up here, and it adheres to the hair, and you don't see, like, it's not black on my scalp. You know what I mean? It's just grabbing onto those white hairs, and it diffuses them. I do that, especially if I'm, like, going a little longer than I normally would. I think Jaclyn Hill talked about how she did this a lot before too, because she didn't like where her hairline was because she had thinner hair. And that's something else you could do too, because when you color your hair darker, like a lot of people love to go darker hair in the fall, a lot of people will notice then that it looks like they have less hair than they do, because darker hair, it shows through to your scalp because your scalp is white and your hair is darker, so it can look a little less full. I have a lot of hair, so I don't usually have that big of a problem, but if you are wanting to, just do this, like exactly what I'm doing while I'm talking to you. Just kind of keep it back here in the hairline, but it makes your hair look more fuller. It gives you a thicker hairline. So that's something else I like to do when I know a powder is trustworthy and won't get all over the place. Now I have to match to the other side. I like to mostly do it if I'm in between hair colors, like I said, and I can see like an inch worth of white Snow White hair. Thanks, mom and dad's side. I think it's mostly mom's side that did that to me. Now I will say sometimes my desk is a little messy afterwards, but it's a small price to pay to have great brows. And on the occasion, no white streaks. I know it's Halloween, but I'm not there yet. I'm not ready. Fun fact, I actually have a male cousin who went totally white-haired by the time he was 18. Men, you can get away with it. You look like silver foxes. Women, we're told to color our hair. Although there's some sexy, good-looking women with white or silver hair. So pretty. I feel like I still have so many more things to go, but I love to tell you guys about the product, not just, oh, look, here's Pan. I like to tell you more about how I use a product and how the product has evolved for me. And we have, oh gosh, I gotta talk about this powder. I just got this powder in the spring and it's gone. It's gone. Like, I'm literally scraping the edges of this powder, and this powder is $1. 1.00 US doll hairs, okay? And it's so good, the company can't keep it in stock. So I keep checking for it because I'm at the remnants of the outside of this. And this product, I have stopped using some of my OG favorite powders. And I feel like I've become a powder girl in my adult life. I have, because I have oily skin, bossy pores. This AOA Perfect Pressed Powder is stunning. I'm obsessed. It is so good. This is their pressed finishing powder, and I am the shade, I'm a very basic shade. It's beige, and it works so great for my skin. Look at this. I'm being very gentle with this so I don't lose the remnants of them. I got them all back in. It's fine. It's fine. This is what I'm at. This is where we're at, guys. This is what I'm down to. I mean, I stopped using my CoverGirl Advanced Radiance powder that I have been obsessed with since high school. We won't talk about how long ago that was because that would be rude and hurt. Oh, speaking of hurt, I just hurt myself with one of these earrings. Whew. I love this. I got it in the spring. I was doing a collaboration with Shop Miss A, who I will link below with this product. $1, Shop Miss A, so good. Highly recommend this if you can find it. And if you do find it, call me, message me, tell a girl. I need it back. It's so good. I just checked my drawer. I don't even have any more of my CoverGirl right now because I haven't needed it because I've been using this since spring. And it is so creamy. It just smooths everything on your face. It makes everything look seamless and polished, and it lasts. Like, and it's cruelty-free. And it's from Shop Miss A, $1. I need you back. I need you back in my life. I have so many face powders in here that I love. And this tells you this is really a favorites video in disguise, calling it a pan video. But obviously, if you've hit this much pan on a product, you're in love with it. I got, within the past, has it been 12 months and under? I can't really remember. This bronzer from Boxycharm. And we tend to get a lot of like the same products back to back, right? Like I was just saying, we got a bunch of face palettes a couple of years ago. So it was like back to back face palettes. So you're like, oh my gosh, can we just spread them out so we can appreciate them more? Then we got a bunch of bronzers. This is the iconic London Ultimate Bronzing Powder. And the packaging is as big as my big head almost. And the pan I already have on it is pretty substantial considering how big this is, how much product you get, and if this compact were smaller, like a regular sized bronzer, like it would be, you know, it would be almost done, it would feel like. It is such a good bronzer. I didn't know what I had when I got this. This is such a smooth and creamy bronzer that it starts out pretty natural, and you can absolutely build it up more. So if you have a little bit more of a tan in the summer, if your complexion is a little bit deeper, you could go in with maybe a more dense packed brush, or you could just layer on a bit more, and it will definitely produce those very smooth looking tan glows to you. But you can also use it on the eyes, on the body. I have been known to pull out a fluffier brush to tap into this just to kind of like warm up, because as we know, sometimes when we order foundations online or when we get home from getting it from the store, it maybe doesn't always match, so maybe you have to warm up one or the other. It works great for the body, the neck, and the face. And you can go over the top of other powders with it because it is so smooth and complimentary. And this is coming from an oily skin girl with bossy pores. pores. When I tell you my pores, when I layer up certain powders, just be like, hi, I'm here, make me look older than I am. That doesn't happen with this. This product can make everything seem so smooth, even if you're like, you know what, it's an afternoon, it's been hot, or I've been doing a lot of things and I need to touch up and I need to add even more. This is my go-to right now, as you can clearly see. Can I also say though, not only do you get more product when the powder is in a compact this big, but you also get a big mirror too. The mirror, there you go, there's my camera. Hi friends. Like, it is a quality size mirror too, so if you're traveling or doing things where you're like, oh my gosh, I need to see my full face to see if this makeup is working, you can. Love this so much. And I can't find it when I Google this. Like, anytime I Google Iconic London Ultimate Bronzing Powder, I can't find it to buy it by itself. What is that about? I love this. If you got this from a Boxycharm, or if you have this, or you know how to get it, tell our friends below, because I recommend. All right, if I'm gonna talk about bronzers, what bronzer do you know I have to talk about? Although I think we've all found out it is discontinued, disappeared. There's been no like real mention of it. It's just like, hush, slowly gonna disappear, because the minis were still out for a while, and then every now and again there was a restock, but now I can't find it at Sephora, at Ulta. I can only find the minis from time to time. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Soleil Bronzer. Okay, here we go. If we thought my highlighter addiction was bad, this is what my bronzer looks like. Now, this bronzer has a lot of highlighting properties to it because it is a golden chocolate gold Soleil bronzer. So it has some reflective properties in it. And it scares people. It scared me when they were like, hey, this is a shimmery bronzer. Do you want this? Because the origin story of this product, really quickly, came in a Boxycharm, as a lot of my makeup has, and this was my choice item. It was supposed to be the matte version. Boxycharm found out it was going to be the shimmery version, so they gave everyone an opportunity to say, no, I don't want this. And a lot of people said, no, I don't want something shimmery for a bronzer. No, that's gonna, attract all of the wrinkles. That's going to emphasize the lines, the pores, all of the things. So I was worried, but I was like, you know what? I'm in it. Let's just do it. I don't think I like the other choice item anyway. So I was like, let's just roll with it. Best decision I made in my entire life. Okay, that's dramatic. Don't tell Adam I said that. But you know what I'm saying. This is so good. This was like my secret weapon of makeup that entire year, because it made me look like I had a suntan all year round. It made my skin look glowy and goddessy, but not textured, and it didn't emphasize lines. It was just like the face medicine I needed. I love this. I'm still using this. It is starting to be a little, when it starts to fall apart because I'm at the edge of this, it does start to get a little chunky as I'm pulling it out on the brush. So sometimes I'll see more of its remnants on my beauty desk, but I'm not even sorry and I don't care. And yes, I have a backup because one of you guys is amazing. And I think you found it somewhere and you were like, I gotta send this to Nichole because clearly this is her jam. I'm so, so grateful. You can build this up. You can start out very natural and then you build it up and it gets even deeper, but not like uncontrollable. It just becomes a little bit more of that glowy suntan. I love it so much. And look how just, it looks reflective, but it looks like a healthy glow. Not anything that's going to be detracting in any way from your skin or the rest of your makeup look. You don't want your bronzer to be the main focal point, well, unless you do, which sometimes I do. Love this so much, and I wish that they not discontinue it, especially if they're just not even gonna say anything. They're just like ghosting us. So rude. Still haunting my beauty space, and I'm not sorry. Okay, we're already on the topic. Let's just keep rolling with some throwbacks that you've probably heard me talk about for years. And these next two products are highlighters. We're back to talking about the amazingness that are certain highlighters in my beauty space that to me are like old friends. You know I have to bring her up, right? I got this from one of you guys, sent it to me, and I think you were cleaning out your beauty space and you were like, here, try Champagne Pop because you're always talking about things that are similar to it. You should have one. And then I had so much pan on it within a month. It was excessive and I wasn't sorry. I figured I probably looked like a glazed donut. And I've clearly added more and more and more pan to this baby. And gosh, look at that, beautiful. I not only fell in love with this champagne pop, I also have so many now more in my collection because of this piece here. I have Opal, I have Moonstone, I have Dreamsicle. I shouldn't show you things you can't have, but I love it. Prosecco Pop. A little bit deeper, a little bit more golden. Now, Champagne Pop you can still get. And can you still get Prosecco Pop too? Because Smashbox did buy their pressed highlighting formula. What is it called? It's actually called like their Shimmering Skin Perfector. It's true. It does not emphasize lines. It doesn't emphasize texture. It just gives you a healthy glow that you can build up to be seen from the moons to the gods, whatever you want. Love them so much. But the only one that I've actually hit this much pan on is Champagne Pop. And when I found out that Becca was going to be going away before Smashbox announced that they purchased it, of course, I bought like, I don't know, 1 million of them. I got the anniversary or the special edition collection from Boxycharm. I got like 2 of those or something because one of them came broken, so they sent me another one. I had another one that I purchased from their website before they went away just because I was really concerned that I was never going to find anything like it again, which is super dramatic. Not that anyone's shocked if you're even watching this video. Of course, it was slightly dramatic. But yeah, I have too many of these. I'm not sorry about it, but hit a lot of pan. Obsessed. Also, is this one of the oldest things I have in my collection now? There's 2 or 3 things in here that I have had. No, maybe 4 things I've had in here since the beginning of my channel. Oh my gosh, you guys, makeup can be like an old friend, you know? And if it's still performing, that's one thing, but I really am gonna have to look under the microscope, not literally, but I'm really gonna have to decide if I need to keep some of these things that I do have pan on. And this is the original. The thing that made me fall in love with highlighters. It actually taught me what highlighters were. I'm going to kick it all the way back for you. Ready to rewind? We're going to go back through the years right now. We're going to go back to when Boxycharm was a single box. It was 1 box. There was no such thing as a premium. There was no such thing as a luxe box. There was no such things as a drop shop or a mega drop shop. I had just started my channel. I felt like I had enough street cred that I felt like I could do YouTube videos and talk about makeup. But I didn't even know what the heck a highlighter was. And then one day, this old school baby walked into my life and changed the game forever. This is the Ofra Rodeo Drive highlighter in the OG original packaging. I mean, do you remember? Do you have this? Hit the like button if you do, because we're kindred spirits. Look at this. Look at the pan in the center. It started with just like a little quadrant of it on like this section here, and it just kept growing and growing. Like, I still remember my reaction to seeing this on my face and realizing what a I just touched it for the first time in a while, and I was like, ooh, look how creamy. I'm looking for a spot to put you, and how beautiful this still is. Oh my gosh. This is why I haven't even needed to, and yes, I have this in updated packaging. I have this in palettes that I've received from Ofra. I have this in various forms now. I even have this in a primer. I have this in so many different ways because like the Ofra Rodeo Drive became like an iconic staple moment in makeup history. We were there for it. We're very lucky. This is one of the OGs in my makeup collection. It's still quality, still works well. I have so much highlighter in my beauty space. It's excessive, but I'm still happy about it. I just said there's like, we're throwing it back. So while we're in the past, while we have taken ourselves back to, when did I start my channel? 2016? Oh my gosh. Yeah. These 2 also came back when Boxycharm was, you know, in the beginning stages, when we were just getting hyped about subscription boxes. This was a new thing on the market, and we were like, I can spend $21 a month and get 5 different pieces of makeup. How exciting. Why not try this? Those were the golden days. We didn't know how good we had it then. Even when it was a lot of like indie brands, it's before like we ever heard of Tarte or anything being in the box. Ofra, I feel like, was one of the big names in there. Makeup Geek. Oh, now I'm reminiscing down memory lane. I first learned about Vintage by Jessica Liebiskind. This is a boutique, smaller brand that we've recently started seeing again in our boxes. I got their lip liner that I just recently got again and love it. And this was their Illuminating Face highlighter set. So this is in Quartz Rose Quartz over here, and this one is Chocolate Diamond. And I was shocked how much I hit pan on Chocolate Diamond. It became, oh my gosh, it was an OG. This made a big impact on me because I could not believe how stunning this formula was. I remember going like, there's darker tones for highlighters, because this chocolate tone became my jam. I really liked the pink one too, but this cool tone, and I think I got it in the winter months, was just like perfect. Again, it's a cooler tone, but I didn't think I liked cooler tones back then. Maybe I just didn't know what the word cooler tones meant, because I swear when I tell my husband, hey, let's paint the living room this shade, it's a little bit of a cooler tone, he's like, what does cooler tone mean? I get it. You know, it's a thing. Stick this here. So fun. This left shoulder is going to be its own moment in this video. It's fine. Still performs really well. And this actually made me keep my eye out for Jessica Liebiskind, that brand, the vintage brand by Jessica Liebiskind, a lot after this. And I still have this in my collection. And I do still reach for it from time to time, but again, my highlighter game, I'm just going to have to decide soon, do I need to keep this? Girl. All right, while we're still in the archives, let's go back to, do you guys remember this? This tiny little muffin. This is IBY. What happened to IBY? Where are they at? This is the Trio eyeshadow. This is the Threes Company. And I hit pan on both of these. I think I hit pan first on this eyeshadow over here. This formula, so darn good. Like, it is super smooth, super buttery, works really, really well on the lids. It doesn't crease and it lasts. 2 shimmers and 1 matte shade really perform so beautifully, and they still, look at them, they're still performing like champs. And this, I think, was kicking it back to like 2016. I used this and was in love with it. I didn't have a ton of makeup when I started my channel, just enough. And this was something that I was like, guys, don't sleep on this. This is small but mighty. Okay, again, let's talk about Wet n Wild. I fell in love with a single that I didn't talk about a lot on my channel because I was like, who's gonna talk about singles? And then I did mention it in a favorites video, and my comment section got flooded with people being like, I am obsessed with the Wet n Wild creme brulee as well. So I let you all know that I found it on Amazon in like a 5-pack because I went through them so darn much that became something that was like a known thing on my channel for quite some time, that we all loved the creme brulee single, and I would pull it out for like all eye looks because I love to start my eye looks with just a cream shade to like set up the base, to put anything else I wanted on it, whether it was a vibrant look or a neutral look. Those days I was loving very vibrant looks, but I would always start with this because it set the eye up for success. It was a super creamy, nice base. I still have 2 more of these actually, because I started getting more and more eyeshadow palettes that either had a shade similar to this in it, or that's when we were really getting into more of the eyeshadow primers and stuff like that. But I do still have this in my collection. And is this something you still reach for? If it is, please let me know because I'm really curious. What a throwback. All right, y'all, let's talk about some eyeshadow palettes. I already told you the Wander Beauty Getaway palette. I mean, top. It was already in here for a reason. Top eyeshadow palette that I have not shut up about in the more recent months. This Zoeva Caramel Melange eyeshadow palette, I have hit double pan on in these shades here. I feel like neutrals were clearly the moment that we were having these past few years, and this was a palette that I could just grab and pair with something a little bit more bold or a little bit warmer toned. And I feel like it was a great setup to at least start an eye look too, because it had these nice Universal Delight shades, the wax paper shades. This has a really big dent in it. I'm thinking there'll be pan on this in the not too distant future. And then this Finished Sensual shade is perfect for my skin tone in particular, in the crease, to kind of like get an eye look going. But if you're also just wanting a basic look, this could absolutely do it for you. Fell in love with this palette and still use it at least monthly, I would say. This one's looking rough, and this is a ColourPop Super Shock Shadow they do not make anymore. And I have gone to like ColourPop fan pages on Instagram because all they do is talk about ColourPop or other YouTubers and stuff, and I'm just like, is there anything like this particular Super Shock Shadow? This one's called Going Rogue, and this is so old. It's from the Amanda Steele collab. Don't Google how long ago that was because you'll tell me to throw this out, and I know I should, because it doesn't even look that appetizing in the pan anymore. It's kind of breaking apart here, but this has some pearl essence to it, and that used to be, I guess maybe a trend with makeup there for a while is to add a little bit of some like pearl highlighter look to it, but it was still a shadow that was super thick and opaque, as you can see on my finger there, and it would go so well on your lid even if there was a crease, which is why I'm using it on this part of my hand to show you. It blended so well on the lid. It still performs really, really nice. It's just not as buttery as it was back in the day. But no one makes these things anymore, like with the pearlescence in them, and everyone's like, there's no dupes for it. There's nothing out there like it. And they were even like, I know. One in particular Instagram page that I'm thinking of does nothing but ColourPop stuff. And I asked them, I'm like, where do I find a dupe for this or something like it to replace this? This is so old. She's like, I can't find it either. And it's still in my collection too. This is so good. So darn good. Tons of pan on it because on the lid, it just looks so yummy. It's got enough reflective properties that'll like draw you into the eye look, but then you can look at other colors around it when you're, you know, doing more colorful looks and things, but that is like, it's like its own showpiece within the eye look. I'm obsessed and I don't want it to go away. Bring pearlescent, like pearlized looks into eye looks again, makeup companies. I miss that. How many of y'all have tried some of these Ace Beauté pots? These are called, they're shimmer shadows. This one in particular is called Iced Latte. And I didn't even know about these pots until I got it from a Boxycharm. These are really good. I found these to be super opaque, blend super seamlessly. Look at that. Look at that. So beautiful on the lid, lasts all day, doesn't really bunch up. I got I think 4 from Boxycharm, but this is one of them that I just kept reaching for in the fall over and over. And 'tis the season, so I'm starting to pull out those colorful looks again. This was a palette that I got from one of you guys, and I fell in love with this. This was one of those palettes that I took with me traveling. I took it with me in my makeup to go bag when I was moving across the country from the Midwest to Florida 4.5 years ago now. This is the Tarte Leave Your Mark palette. I've seen it float around from time to time in sales and stuff. I've hit so much pan on this, and it's such an easy, fast palette to use. When you are going through things, but you still want to look your best, the last thing you want to do is spend 30 minutes on just your eye look, or even sometimes 10 minutes on an eye look. I loved that even during a crazy move, all I needed to do was put on a little bit of the more like cream bases to get something kind of like down. I could use this shimmer shade for my crease, which I couldn't believe worked so beautifully, and it stayed all day and it didn't age me or settle into fine lines. It was great. And then a lot of times I would go into this highlighter for the lid, but I also had these more golden pink tones as well. This was my go-to for so stinking long. And every now and again, if like we're getting ready to go out on a weekend and Adam's like, hey, can you be ready in like 10 minutes? I want to go do this thing. If I'm in a rush, it's like a mental reflex for me to immediately grab for this palette, still to this day, put on a quick bit into the crease and go. Now, it's probably been at least about 6 months since I've done that with this though, so I do need to decide, do I want to keep this? Because it has been in my beauty space since the St. Louis days, as I said. So I need to decide if I want to keep this still, but this is why it has pan on it, because some of these shadows, don't sleep on them just because it's a smaller palette and maybe it wasn't as hyped on social media or YouTube or on the sales. This one is so good. All right, y'all. I gotta take down the shoulders for this. We're gonna take a deep breath because I got one big one left. I don't even know if you guys still like this person. I don't know if you have this product. This eyeshadow palette changed the YouTube game there for a minute, and her formula was standout. Now, I'll be honest, I got the first run because this was like a Christmas present from Adam when I told him about it in Christmas 2017 is when I got this. So this is her original run. This is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, the OG, the first one, the really big, massive one that I still claim the only thing this was missing was a shade like Creme Brulee to go in this palette. A matte, creamy neutral. But that didn't stop me from hitting so much pan on it, correct? Like, look at it. I'm even today looking at this palette going, what a missed opportunity. I'm wearing a mustard colored top with some orange pumpkin earrings. Why did you not go into one of your favorite shades, Pukey, right here that has such a big dip on it? You could have hit more pan on it by the time this video was getting ready to be filmed. Now, word on the street, word on the YouTube streets is that after a certain like year marking a benchmark of time, even though this palette is still selling, it's not the same formula because of maybe talc or something in particular that is in this palette that is not in the current runs of this. So this is the OG version. I've heard that the updated version isn't as good. The pigments aren't as pressed or something, where they're not as bold. They're not as creamy. They don't last as well. They don't blend as well. I don't know exactly what it is, but this was my, gosh, go-to for so many eye looks. And I'm literally getting ready to put together a fall makeup. Like, what are some things that you can reach into for the fall that maybe you haven't thought of in a while? And this is absolutely something that I'm just sitting here looking at it going, dang, these are still so nice, so pretty. And these are definitely fall tones, right? I mean, look at all of this. And if you need a pop of color, we got you. So yes, I still have these. These were clearly where my jam was to do again. That was also the time frame of inner highlights, lift that brow up there to give myself that free facelift, use it on the lids, the whole thing. Love, love, love. Not sorry. I think I'm going to use this again soon to see how does the formula still stand up, because it is an older palette, like I mentioned. But oh my gosh, you guys, my back is literally hurting from sitting here for as long as I have. I got to edit this down for you guys because I just love my makeup. I mean, clearly that's why I have a YouTube channel talking about beauty, lifestyle, all the things. But these are the things that clearly I have hit pan on, and I need you to know why I've hit pan on them. Why am I thinking of getting rid of some things, or how are things multifaceted, like hairlines and brows? Yes, please. Shimmery bronzer. Isn't that controversial? Maybe a little, but let me tell you how it's not going to age you. It's not going to grab to your fine lines. It's not going to grab to your pores. Like, I feel like I need to give each of one of them their own moment here. And that's why these long chatty videos make us go through a couple beverages. Thank you guys so much for going down this panning rabbit hole with me, and tell me, what have you hit pan on? Have you hit pan on as many highlighters as I have? Have you hit pan on more highlighters than I have? Please brag below because I love to hear about it. Eyeshadow palettes. Y'all know we get so many eyeshadow palettes. We salivate over eyeshadow palettes even when we're on no buys. So tell me, have you hit pan on a lot of eyeshadow palettes? Blushes? I don't have any blushes in here. Do you have blushes? Tell me all the things. I love hearing about it. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, this month is my Halloween special. I'm working super hard on this video already behind the scenes, so please be sure to be subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Click all so you don't miss out on all of my fun Halloween October specials for you guys. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, friends.